What is up? 2xTheGrind fam. Oh my goodness,
We're back.
I'm so excited to be back. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. First of all, welcome back to the podcast. But we have taken this time just because obviously we've been kind of in our off season here and not a lot has been going on. We've been waiting to actually have good content to talk about.
Good
I think
games.
yeah. You know what I mean?
A little bit of a lull point.
Yeah. And also we really needed to take some time to ourselves.
Yeah. There's been a whole mess of stuff going on.
I think obviously we started this podcast because we wanted to give you an insight into our thoughts and feelings mostly about what we do for a living and then our dynamic together as well. And I think, I love you guys so much because of the understanding you have of what we're doing here. Like, for example, it's been a long road and the time we've taken off has really been about PJ mostly and myself, honestly. But like in the progression of going into this next year and what we have coming up, because it doesn't just happen like that. You have to prepare for it. You have to get stuff done that you need to do before a massive grind starts like this. Shout out to the name. So I appreciate your patience so much. Like, we appreciate it beyond belief, and we appreciate the hype about the podcast coming back. So it will be weekly. As you may have seen, we have moved our time and our schedule. So I think we will aim for morning times on Tuesdays. Look, if it doesn't happen in the morning, it doesn't happen, but they will be coming out on Tuesdays. And if they won't, it will be known in advance. But Tuesdays are going to be the days just because of online tournaments, broadcasts, the way that the season kind of shapes out for Halo.
It'll probably have to be Wednesdays after tournaments, I think.
Yeah.
Because we'll be traveling, like if...
It's going to be weekly, but unfortunately the schedule, just with what we're doing and the fact that we're going to be on the road sometimes when we do the podcast, a lot of the time we won't have, if we're on the road, we might not have a visual. It might be easier for us just to bring the mics.
That's a good idea. We just bring the recorder and just kind of, that's a really good idea.
What we used to do when I had a migraine, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that might also be a thing that we'll have to kind of get into, but we want to bring the content. We want to keep it coming, and we love you guys so much.
Now we can be consistent, back to being consistent with it.
Back to being consistent. Okay, well, talking about consistency, we have a coffee for review today. This is actually all the way, gifted by some of our very, very close friends, our best friends, Brad and Jenna, who kindly sent this over with themselves at the time, right? They brought it to us hand-delivered to our house, which was absolutely amazing. Hand-deliver it. Oh, no, they didn't. They sent it.
They sent it to us.
Yeah, they sent it. It may as well have been hand-delivered. They came. Yeah. They came to
tell
us
about
it.
It was awesome seeing them. Yeah, they did come here.
So, yeah, really, really cool. Oak roasted coffee by Summer Moon. What a cute name. Just going to say. The packaging is gorgeous. I love the paper. The paper aspect about it, obviously fully recyclable, etc. This one is Velvet Blaze, and it's an organic whole bean, and it's part of their signature blend. It's a medium roast as well. So that's all about me. Medium to dark. Don't do a light. I don't do light, but it is what it is. But I will, obviously, if a light comes our way and we have to review it, we review it for what it is.
We have in the past. By the way, apologies for how I sound. I'm getting over a cold, so do I sound a little nasally? A little nasally. I have my broadcast in ears, and when I tell you, I hear you in my neurons in my brain, like it's shaking. So the back of it. It's all about the coffee in this bag. It was roasted in the brick oven over seasoned Texas oak. Our twin fire brick roasters naturally remove all the bitterness by utilizing all three types of heat. Number 1, radiant. Stored up heat in the fire brick oven is evenly released throughout the roasting process. The conduction is the second. It's recurring contact between the coffee and roasting barrel turning at 60 RPM. It's very technical over here. And convection. Roaring air currents flow through the firebox, roasting chamber and chimney. We created a roaster that brings out the natural affinity between coffee and wood. We drew up the plans, laid every brick, and have dedicated the last 16 years to proving that the wood makes it good. I hear you. I hear you. I mean, absolutely gorgeous little bag. Full bean. You have to grind it yourself, but I absolutely love that because the smell in your kitchen when you grind is absolutely gorgeous. And let's give it a little taste. You've already tasted. I've already tasted it. It's good. Very, very good.
It's really good. You
know what this has, and I know we'll do the rating at the end. It's very like when you taste it, doesn't it just taste like a really
Bailey hair, my dog hair.
Sorry.
Comes off my clothes.
Isn't it very like I don't know what the right word would be, but like a natural tasting. Like, you know what I mean? Like I took a sip of it and it was like, it's just very like clean. Like it was like very smooth, very clean.
Yeah.
We'll give the rating at the end, but that's something I noticed right away with that one. I can
definitely taste and smell like the, you know,
I can't like smell very well.
I know, like the woodiness coming through. And I know it sounds a bit weird because it's not huge, like it's subtle, but it just tastes very whole. It's like it's very like not earthy either, but it's very deep. Like there's a deep taste to it, and it's really, like you said, very natural tasting. Very like feel like I'm tasting something that's extremely organic and natural and like expensive, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Agreed. Absolutely delicious so far. Loving that, and I'll definitely give my review at the end. But the packaging, that's a bit of me. That is a bit of me. I love the splash of red on it too, to like bring it to life. Gorgeous stuff. Thank you so much, Brad and Jenna, for sending that over. You guys are
thank you very much.
Wonderful people. You know, I'm dead excited to get into this.
Right. Well, we got a little bit of a surprise, didn't we?
A little
bit of a surprise.
Listen. Okay, so there's a lot to talk about here, and we're going to try and get through this. So obviously, game has released. It released earlier than anticipated.
3 weeks
First
early.
of all,
thoughts
on them releasing the game early like that? Like, what was your when you knew it was happening? You're like, oh my gosh, I can download this right now. What were you thinking?
I had mixed feelings because I was in LA doing content for Sen, and you know, like there was the rumor. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're probably from the Halo scene, or at least know esports enough or gaming enough to have heard the rumor kind of start flowing around. And we're like, nah, like there's just no way. Like, you know, they already announced it. Like, there's just no way. So I have mixed feelings because timing wise for me and for our team, it really wasn't the best timing. Like, I would have rather have just like been home and been ready to just grind and do what kind of we're doing now. So the first, you know, we'll talk about team stuff and all that in a little bit, but
we'll get into that.
Yeah. But I like the release early because I think that they saw a lot of their problems being like longer term solutions. And what I mean by that is like, if you just like release the game
and it's like, well, there it is.
And it has problems on launch, people are going to be like, oh my God, like, holy shit. Like, you know, like what's going on? But with the beta release, and let's call it that, the beta release, because it's staying out the entire way. You have a lot more leeway of being like, okay, well, like we can fix that, you know, like, and you get a little bit of extra time to do it, you know, but mixed feelings, but love it.
I think definitely right on the mixed feelings. And then obviously the fact that, you know, you can get regular updates too, which is really cool. And they're listening to the communication. I think right off the bat though, I've got to say G, like, thank you so much for like launching it in the right way though. Like the team skins right off the bat, the game, it's great. Like, it really is
if
good.
You haven't already,
buy Sen skins, #buy Sen skins. We're trying to get the podcast skins in. Blue and orange and yellow, and then our face is just bang like on the helmet.
Coffee mug like emblem. That could be kind of like our.
That would be sick. Kind of like do you know what's funny? I actually have that as my Spartan ID.
I know you do because I played on your account.
But then I have SB underneath. That was fun actually. You playing as me. I was like, I was having the best time with all my stupid jokes. Oh, look how good I am. So like right from the get-go, the skins are actually dope. Like what a huge welcome.
They've done a great job.
I think that really has aided to I think a lot of people to want to play. And I know it's like, it's not just about like, oh, I can buy the skins. I think it was the fact that it draws people in to think they have their shit together. Oh yeah. You know?
Well, it was just like W after W after W. It was like, you know, beta launch, skins are in the game, crowdfunding announced, full roadmap announced. Like, you know, there's so many good things of like, dope. I'll be honest, and this is me being slightly negative.
Okay.
Not negative.
We're not used to that.
Not negative, but like, you know, I don't know what the word would be. Like, really great job, and I'm proud of them for being able to do it, but you had a long time to do it. So
no, I know.
But I don't think that takes away from a good job being done.
To be fair,
you know what
they
I mean?
haven't had the teams for that long. So it's like, that's cool. But I just think about it as well.
I more so mean like the roadmap and the idea of it and stuff like that. But like I said, it doesn't take away from just a great job. Like I even tweeted something about it. I tweeted something of being like, credit where credit's due. Like, I'm a harsh critic, but they really did this the right way, and I appreciate it.
If I'm gonna be like devil's advocate here, like totally hear you. Like I hear you, like on that like slight, and it's not even negative. It's it's more constructive, like whatever. Like in an ideal world, you know. But I think with the roadmap and stuff, like I think they've done a really good job with it, and I'll tell you why is because it must have been so hard in the pandemic. Obviously, like their game got delayed. They kept pushing it back. They knew it wasn't ready, and for whatever reasons,
they've already openly said that it's changed over the. Because I mean, the game got delayed, right? Like it's changed over the course of time. And that's why I was saying credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Because honestly, with COVID and the pandemic and live events being kind of like a question mark for a lot, I mean, who knows? Like, who knows what it was changing to constantly, I'd assume. I mean,
like, with the roadmap and stuff, like, you know, they're probably having to book these venues, which, let's be honest, are costing tens of thousands of dollars, if not into the hundreds with, you know, the production value potential that they want to put on here. You know, that's a high risk during a pandemic to book something and then not be able to actually utilize what you booked and waste that money.
I was just more so saying with the whole roadmap, like, even if it had to have been online, like, say the whole thing had to be online, which, like, knock on wood, you know, hopefully that doesn't ever happen again.
Okay.
But, like, even the 1 year roadmap, that was, like, one of Halo's biggest faults in the past was, like, it's always been this way with, like, HGS of being, like, you have 3 months of, okay, you have an event month 1, you have an event, say, month 3, right?
Yeah.
But then there'd be, like, 2 months of just no one knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And that has been a drastic pullback. But now with the roadmap, even if it went to online, just the fact that they have the whole, this is what you're going to be doing, this is the online stuff, this is the LAN stuff, this is how the, you know, like, it's just to a T dialed in. And I really, really appreciate that and respect that. And like I said, they've had a long time to do it, but it doesn't take away from just being, like, it actually being executed the right way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I really couldn't agree more. I think, you know, another thing that I want to touch upon and ask you, I have so much to ask you because, believe it or not, PJ and I have limited time to talk in this household at the moment. Like, we're actually probably talking more right now in this podcast like than we have in ages.
We have like 45 minutes.
It's more like we go to bed and we're like, you okay?
Yeah.
Like, good night, love you. Like, it's like, you know, it's nice. It's nice to see you. Missed you.
Yeah.
Really proud of you. Anyway. Let's just talk about, you know, from the get-go, because let's be honest, it's been like 0 to 100. It literally went like November 14th, 0, November 15th, 100. And it was straight into that because you then knew after that day, you have a tournament coming up.
Yeah.
So, like, what was that process like? Obviously, you're in LA. You know, there was a couple of little, like, you know, tiddly bits on social media kind of stabbing the wrong way, you know, fellow other players, previous teammates. You know, we had Eco being like, oh, you're a favorite, you must have known. Actually, you being in LA was a huge hindrance to you guys. You know, talk to me about it, talk to them about it, you know, like how that kind of affected your, I suppose, like your start on the starting line.
It was tough because, like, we so like I said, we were in LA for Sentinels content, which rightfully so, because we haven't had to do anything really.
You know,
like we didn't know. You know, basically the whole Sentinels content thing. They asked us, like, hey, what time period works for you? And somehow, some way, was that you?
That was me. Sorry.
That's okay. Somehow, some way, that's the date it kind of fell on. Like, we were there from the 10th to
you were there
the
5
19th.
days before, so.
No, yeah, we were there. So we were there the 10th until the 19th. Yeah, so it was just rough. You know, the game came out. We had 4 hours of content shooting, 4 to 5 hours of content shooting a day, which is where, like, you know, I saw Kevin's thing, and it's just a competitive thing. Like, people just take stuff the wrong way, or I don't know. You know, it's just one of those things. Because, like, obviously, like, it's not. Why would we not want to be home when we need to play? Yeah. But that's besides the point. Yeah, it was rough. You know, you don't get to play the game as much as you wanted to in our situation because, you know, we have work to do, like work outside of gaming. Granted, like now, you know, they fully understand what we do and how we are, to where, like, the reason we were going to do that was to avoid what basically had happened of being like, you're going to come do content now so that when the game's out, like, you don't got to do anything. You just play. But obviously it didn't work. But it's okay. You know, first week of the game, second week of the game, it's early. Yeah. It's okay.
I think it was just funny that you were getting, like, a very small amount of ridicule.
Yeah, like a little jab
every now and then. And then that was obviously encouraging other fans and stuff. But, like, it actually was the worst possible outcome.
It was pretty small. Like, it was just Kevin said something It's okay. Like, it's just, I don't even want to make a big deal.
Obviously, things then progress from there.
Yeah, it's
and
been
not only do you not get ample time on the game at the start like that, but then you come back to the news that people don't want to play you, and it was kind of like, it really was like domino effect, where it was like one team after another.
Yeah.
I think a team that you were expecting to do that with was Cloud9, just because of previous ways that they have, done things.
It's been their approach.
Competition.
Yeah, their approach.
But, to find out other teams were having the same, not even the same feeling, because it was for a different reason, or you thought, supposedly, but like so much more was happening. And I think we don't really want to bring up too much of this stuff, but obviously this is part of the journey so far. And it's stupid to not talk about it, because it has been, it has really been a huge reason to why you guys haven't had that hot start I think a lot of people expected from you. I think rather than, like, what we don't need to do here on this podcast is bring up reasons, but what I do want to do is talk about how it affected you.
Well, I mean, like, it's pretty simple. Like, we're just not I still feel like we're really competitive. Like, I feel like we're really we're in a good space. We're in a good headspace with it. It was just like stressful, and I think we're kind of past it. So like you said, like, not talking about the stuff in the past, but obviously how it impacted us was just we weren't really prepared, and we aren't. When you lose, we got third in the first tournament, which we were kind of like, damn, like, we got third with no practice. Like, what? Yeah, like, what the hell? But then, in the second tournament, we got like 9th through 12th or whatever, how the placing works. But we lost to two good teams. We lost to United, who got 4th, and we lost to KCP, who got 3rd. We lost 2-1 series in games that we really felt like we should have won. Like, we lost a oddball game that we kind of had won against KCP. And then United, we lost a 1-0 CTF, just all the way to the end. That we should have really probably put it to OT, but we choked. It just made us feel not prepared. There's not really another way to feel. Like, you just feel not prepared. We kind of felt like targeted. We're like, why is this only happening to us?
And I think there's a normal reason behind that, because for a long time you guys have been on the top.
Well, it's that, and then there's like some personal stuff that people had issues with, which is fine, and hopefully it's resolved now. And then, like, but it's just like that trickle down. One team doesn't do it, and then all of a sudden everyone started kind of being like, well, if they're not doing it, like,
then we shouldn't.
Then
do
maybe
it.
we shouldn't do it.
Maybe
and then when the second team does it, the third team does it,
fourth.
But I was sitting there going, like, you guys are all playing each other though. Like, why? Like, you know what I mean? But like, I think it's resolved. We had a good scrim yesterday against Optic. Finally got to play them. It's a great series. Those guys are great. They won back-to-back tournaments. Obviously, they're going to be incredible. I think Lucid's probably the best player in the game right now.
He's really good at utilizing every piece of equipment on the map, and he does it really well. He's nerdy, that's what you want with a game like this. He's a smart
kid. He's a really smart kid, and he's always had a really good play style. And then I think they just have a really good team dynamic with the players that they have around him. To where it's gonna work out pretty well for them.
I see you as like an equipment nerd on the map.
Well, I am.
I think you're a fantastic grapple player. Like, that sends me when I watch you with the grapple. It does. Like, eyes rolling back, like, amazing. I definitely see you in that type of role for your team at the moment, which is cool. How are you feeling about adapting to a new game and like becoming like I wouldn't say like a new player, but like, obviously it is a different game.
It's just different, isn't it?
Versatility, right?
I feel really good. I feel like I'm playing really well. I think from an individual standpoint, I think we're all playing really well. Like, I think we all take to the game really solid. I think that our issue comes down to the nitty gritty of like, okay, like,
how to win it.
It's not just how to win it. It's like, okay, like, if they have the ball here, like, where do you want to go? And it's like, we haven't been put in those scenarios yet.
Lack of practice,
right? But from an individual standpoint, I'm watching everyone do stuff that I'm like, damn, like, we are pretty good here. I love the equipment. I think the equipment, I said this in Halo 5, like, I really, in 2016 of Halo 5, loved the game. And people didn't like it because of ARs and radar and all that stuff, but like, I like different. Like, I know that sounds dumb, but like, I like Halo with just like, how like right now, like, you just pick up every gun on the map and there's equipment and there's like all this, like, it just makes it so like fun to me. And I think that's mainly because like I'm an older player now. Like, I'm
old man.
I am an old man. I've been doing it for 13 years. I've been a pro for 13 years, but you know, like I feel like if I would have went back to like Halo 3, and this is no disrespect to Halo 3 because it was a great game, but I feel like I would have just gotten kind of like I just think I would have found it like more boring, you know. And I don't mean that as an awful thing, but I'm just saying like with the new game and how versatile it is, like you have the urge to try everything. Like you just want to pick up every gun and pick up every equipment and like figure out like I'm grabbing drop shields, figuring out like where do I place it on the map to make it. Yeah, and it's like I love, and I've talked about that a lot on the podcast and my stream, of course, of I love that side of gaming. I love the knowledge side of like I want to be the best. Like I want to figure out how to become the best player I can be. And it's not just through like raw gameplay. Sure. It's through like learning of loading up a custom game and being like, okay, if I use my equipment in this scenario, this can happen, you know, just stuff like that. And it's really refreshing. I mean, you can tell by how much I've been playing and streaming, and just it's been a blast. I need to ask you something
about the drop shield.
Yeah, go ahead.
See if I'm like ruining or improving my game. See. So whenever I get given the drop shield, or I find one or whatever, and I just, you know, sometimes you run over it if you have nothing in your arsenal, you pick it up. So if I ever have it and I want to use it, and usually I use it like top bizarre, like on bridges, like basically like on the bridge at the top sometimes, because you already know that you're going to take that top mid fight. You're going to get, if you come that way, you're getting that fire 100%. Coming, you're getting that smoke, right? I sometimes drop the shield and I smack a little hole in the middle and I just pop in and out.
Yeah, you don't need to do that.
No. Shouldn't be doing that.
No.
Why?
Because it's a one-way shield. So if the shield's in front of you, you can shoot through it. Yeah.
I didn't think you could.
Yeah, you can shoot through it.
There's me shooting through a little hole.
Yeah. That's gonna improve your game a lot. No, so they have to. I got you.
Hey, do you know what I mean though? Like I didn't know.
I know.
I didn't know, and I'll tell you why I thought. Do you know why I thought that? If you're the other side of it though, and it's your shield though, you can do damage to it, right? You know that.
Yeah, it's a one-way shield. So I figured that out.
Right.
Okay. I figured that out the hard way. I threw a shield down.
Yeah.
And this is like day one of the game. I threw a shield down, and someone was coming behind me. So I went in front of the shield, like the way thinking I could keep shooting through it. No. You can't. It's a one-way
system. Yeah. Right. That makes a whole bunch of sense now. I was popping a little hole in it.
They're probably
right in the middle.
Going, what's she doing?
What's she doing? Jeez, Louise, she's risky.
That's so funny though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Obviously, then, you know, with all of that combined, you know, I just want to say, you know, I'm really like, you motivate me in so many different ways. Like you've motivated me like throughout this podcast, journey that we've been on, obviously previous to that as well, but since we've been kind of airing our thoughts and feelings live, but you've motivated me in so many different ways, but I feel completely different. Like I haven't watched you really not be on top form. I haven't ever really watched you lose the way that you guys have been losing. And trust me, I don't like saying it, but it is true, and it's happening, and it's part of the process, it's part of the journey. But like, I just want to say, like, I am so like blown away and motivated by the way that you're carrying that into a new game, into a game you've been so anxiously excited about.
Thank you.
And like looking forward to. And obviously it's not going your way right now. And trust me, you don't like losing. No one does. Nobody does.
Yeah.
But the way that you're handling that is so incredible to me.
Well, I appreciate it.
It really is.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just feel like
I'm way more upset and nervous than you are.
Yeah, well, because look, this stuff takes a lot of time. And, you know, going back to Halo 5 and like, you know, we won a lot in Halo 5. But what people don't realize about that is our team wasn't the number one team until like 5 months into the game. Like it was like it was October, November, December, January. Yeah, like 4 to 5 months into the game, it took us to win our first tournament. We lost X Games, you know, and by all accounts, we were still sitting at second place. You know, we lost X Games and you're kind of sitting there going, oh shit, like, you know, did we make the right change? You know, we knew we made the right change, but it was like, it didn't really pay off, you know, when we picked up TJ. And then with this stuff, it almost feels like, I hope we keep getting scrims to where we can keep improving, but it almost feels like we have a little bit of like it's been really stressful because we can't get scrims. Hear me out, right? It feels really stressful because we haven't been able to practice, right? But it almost feels like we have gotten to go into the mindset of like, okay, like we're not getting the practice we think we should, and we're still doing better than I thought we would since we hadn't played. So we're like sitting there going, it's going to take some time, but there's something there. you know? And that's, I think it's not like if we would have like been able to play everyone right away and say we just got the practice we wanted right away and we just weren't number one, I think it'd be like a really frustrating, like, why are we not, like, what's going on? And even then, I still think we'd figure it out. But now it's almost taking like a step back and being like, okay, like, you know what? Let's be honest. It's 2 weeks in, and that's what it is. It's 2 weeks in. Yeah. And you're sitting there going, it's not like we're terrible. Like, you know, we're clearly still in the, I think we're in the top 8 still, no matter what.
And also your games are margins. Yeah. It's like margins.
And I think you could say that about everybody. Yeah, like, you know, even credit to Optic because they're clutching up. Everyone. But Optic is super close to Cloud9. Optic almost lost to SSG. Like, SSG came out of nowhere.
That was crazy. That first really, game. Holy
well, and then the 50-49 Slayer. You know what I mean? So it's just so neck and neck right now. And I think I said this when we lost X Games, and not to be super cliche, but I'm hoping it'll have the same impact. I think losing X Games back in 2016 set us on the right path. And it put in our minds, like, you were not guaranteed to do anything. You need to keep working hard. And even when, you know, and a lot of the, like, you know, like Boobadooboo, and Ola messaged me about like the respect they have for our work ethic, where even when we were winning, like we were still going, like we didn't stop. And I think that this so far has given that same kind of I don't know any other word than like vibe of like, okay,
that feeling,
like, yeah, that feeling like, okay, we want to be number one, but like that doesn't just you know, excuse my language, that doesn't just happen. Like, you're just not guaranteed. You're not just guaranteed to get on and be number one. Like, all these guys, every pro, everyone you're seeing is putting in so much work. You know, scrims every day, double scrims, triple scrims. We're a little late to the party of getting scrims and being able to play, but that hasn't stopped us from playing. Like, I think the reason why we're so good is because we're putting in 12 hours a day, even if we aren't scrimming. I just enjoy the process, and when I see improvement, I get excited. And, you know, not winning some stuff early on, it sucks that you get some kickback from people and you get kickback from fans. Like,
that's normal,
you know, but that's normal. That's a part of the gig. And, you know, I just see it. Like, I can see in my mind us getting better, and that is what is important to me. You know, we had a 12-1 scrim against Optic, 1-12 scrim against Optic yesterday, because they're a great team, you know, and they've put in a lot of great practice. But when we step away from that, and I think it's something that we've always done a really good job of, we're not like going at each other's throats. It's just like, okay, like, damn, like, okay.
Well, you have notes now.
Yeah, it sucks we lost 112. They are
far more practiced than you are.
We were like, you know, man, it sucks we lost, but like, man, we learned a lot. And it was like, you know, and in some of those games, you know, we're hardly losing. And we're like, you know, okay. We're like, wow, that's, damn. I didn't think we would, you know, like on, you know, because I've talked to you about this, obviously, like Aquarius is our worst. That's your best map. Our worst map.
They made it for me and TJ.
Because you're Aquarius.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What is
Aquarius.
it? Aquarius.
Mm-hmm. Star sign.
It's been our worst map by far. Like, just
gone. Sad.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
sorry. No, it's been terrible.
Yeah.
And we went over stuff after the tournament because we played KCP on it, and they played it great. And we then played Optic, like the next day, being yesterday, and we had an OT flag loss.
I saw that.
And I think we lost like 50-40 on the Slayer, but it was like 32-32, like really, really close. And like we like got done with it, and we were like, and we got done with it, and we're like, you know, people, and then like the chat or people look at it and go, oh my god, they lost, you know, they lost another game, but we're sitting there like, damn, we played that pretty good. No, like, you know, like, oh, wow, we're improving. We went to OT and we're like, wow.
That is the difference between, like, what you're doing and what you're taking away. Yeah. What you got to remember is, like, okay, back in Halo 5, you guys were winning scrims too.
Yeah, well,
But I guarantee you, teams weren't walking away from your scrims thinking, damn, we lost again. They are using that time to improve. I think they're using that time to understand what they're doing wrong, what you're doing right, etc., etc. And it's a two-way street here. Like, so
especially so early on in the game.
Yeah, I think
exactly. Because there is a lot of hype around us, like in Halo 5.
Yeah.
Because we were like 13-0 teams in scrims.
Yeah.
Right? But again, a lot of that came because the game was actually so far already in. When you're 6 months in the game and you're 13-0 teams,
then like, oh gosh,
and you have a tournament in a week, people are going, oh shit, like this is, you know, but
Like FaZe.
For us, like FaZe and Call of Duty. Yeah, FaZe and Call of Duty.
FaZe is now in Halo. It's so sick.
Well, they don't have a roster yet.
Not
yet. Yeah. So like right now, it's just a learning process right now, and I think that's we've kind of taken it on the chin of just kind of going through it together. I love my team. I think we just have good vibes.
Yeah.
Like we haven't yet lost and been like down about it, and I think that's
perfect.
Yeah,
and I think you can that you don't have to be.
No, but
at this point,
the game is really easy. Like speaking from experience of 13 years
Somebody
now.
could just sound like that. The game is really easy.
No. The game is really easy, and competing is really easy when everything goes your way. When you're winning tournaments and you feel like you can't be stopped, and scrims are going fantastic, and no one can beat you in the strongholds, and the game is really easy. Like there's not much you got to do, or not much. Obviously, you got what I'm saying. But from our perspective of why I think we've always been so successful, and hopefully we'll have a good bounce back this year. I say bounce back this year. It's been 2 weeks into the game. But why I think we could potentially have a great bounce back and climb back up to being a solidified top 2 is because of how you handle your losses and how you handle adversity. And our team has always just kept going. Just kept going without stepping on each other's toes. And yesterday, I'm sorry to be like on a tangent, but
you're fine.
Yesterday I called out Chris because like we didn't get like a overshield, and so my chat was like, oh man, like why are you being like rude to row 1, like whatever. And I was like, dude, like Chris knows this. Like I love Chris.
Yeah,
I love Chris to death. Chris is literally one of the best humans I've ever met in my life. Period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me telling Chris to like call out overshields isn't me having a problem with Chris.
And Chris understands that there's a mutual understanding
exactly. That's
between all of them. You should see the way Brad talks to you.
Yeah.
Matt talks to whoever. This. TJ being sarcastic.
Yeah.
That's just your team.
Yeah.
And not only that,
and every
but
team has
what
that
they
dynamic.
have to understand as well, what you guys at home, I know it's not you, but what people have to understand is that you guys have been together for a long time for a reason.
Yeah.
And that is because the way that you guys communicate with one another, the way that you figure things out, the way that you play, all is extremely well suited to one another, and you get it. They have a thing. It's working.
Yeah.
It worked. It will work. It's working.
Yeah, people call us weird.
Why?
Because we're just not. The issue, like, so what happens with a lot of other teams, and I'm going to say teams of the past, because honestly, like, I don't want to throw any shade to any of these guys who are doing fantastic now.
Well, they are doing amazing.
Because that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying as in like, oh, this is going to happen to them. That's not what I mean.
Well, we're allowed to be a little biased about what's going on here because this is our
No, I know. But
well,
I'm saying, like, I'm not saying it as like a negative to anyone current. Like, it's not like this is going to start happening. But, a lot of the times people call us weird because we're just not. We care a lot about winning, but we're not like unbelievably emotional when it comes to the critiquing.
This whole thing again.
No, because that's what it comes down to. Is like when someone tells me to be better, or like if Brad and I are going at it and we're not going at it, but if we're like critiquing one another and Brad's telling me like, yo, you messed up here, I don't get offended that he told me I messed up. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we go hit the theater. And I either acknowledge that I did it wrong or I show them why I think I did it right. You know what I mean? And I think that for us over the course of our time span teaming has been a really big difference maker of like when we put the headphones down, or we're probably still on headphones because we're talking over Discord. When we put our controllers down, like we're still. Put the headphones
down, you can't hear each other anymore.
We're still,
so it's okay.
We're still just, great friends outside of it, you know? But it's been fun. It's been fun getting back to it.
I think part of your success as well, I think, has been the fact that you can not, I wouldn't just say separate emotions from it, but I think you can like separate your feelings and your sensitivities about what you're doing. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the way that your team dynamic is, you just want to work hard for each other. You want to win as a team. It's not about like, well, I was right and this is what I want to do. It's like always at the forefront of all of your minds is like, what is best for the team to win this? Yeah. Like, how do we win this? Not I, you know, and that's why I think it works so well with the dynamic. And at the end of the day, I think, you know, a lot of you understand as well, you don't have time to be like, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Like, but that wasn't that great. Yeah. Like, just say it.
We're just
say it.
You know, improve. You know, but it's a long road. We got a long road to go. We by no means have it. Every team is really good. like really good.
Yeah.
You know, right now.
It's fun though.
It's very fun. And dude, honestly, like I've had a blast. Like even just this is what I've said to my stream. I've had a blast like watching Halo right now.
Yeah, me too.
Because every match feels like it's just a nail biter. And you know, dude, for Halo,
week 1.
I know I feel like that is I want Halo to succeed so badly that I feel like that is exactly what we needed. We needed every team to be super tight and just be battling every single match. And that's what it feels like right now. Going away from us and talking about just me and my team, how's it been doing some Halo broadcasts again? It's been a bit since you got to work with some of the boys.
Yeah, it's been
Wes,
sick.
Brav, on set.
I love it.
It's been 2 weeks in a row with the same crew, right?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, we got a different crew this week coming. Just a little bit. We've got Wes is subbing in for Gaskin. Sorry, Gaskin's subbing in for Wes. They're switching around. So Wes is going to Europe and Gaskin's coming to NA for a little bit as well. Dude, it's been so fun. Cool. It has been so nice to see everyone again and just to work with everyone again. The vibes are really high. Like we're all really geeky about Halo. Like we are all super geeky.
You started, not started, but
it really kicked off my whole career. Honestly, it really did.
Like desk hosting in particular,
I mean, obviously, like my first ever broadcast that I ever did was with COD, and it was a last chance qualifier in London. But really, like my passion is desk hosting, analyzing. Like I don't know why I'm getting sniffly now. Oh God.
It's from me. Sorry.
Is it you?
Yeah.
Am I getting a cold?
Yeah.
Probably. I hope not. At least you guys aren't. This is a window into the life. Don't worry. You're all okay. I literally, it's what set my career ablaze for me, really. Like desk hosting is what I love to do because look, I'm not an expert on the games. I'm not an expert. However, I feel like I'm intelligent enough and passionate enough to want to understand them to a level where I feel like I can educate people or help to educate people by pushing the right buttons of my analysts. Yeah. And that's what I love doing. I love asking questions. I love asking the right questions. So like I've really found my passion through Halo. I've also found the love of my life through Halo. So for me, like this is amazing that I get to watch you compete. Although I've got to say, the last week was a little stressful for me.
Sucks a little bit, but that's all right.
It is what it is. And, I'm learning to try and separate a little bit of my emotions from what I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, when I sit down and I talk about Halo, because I'm sure eventually throughout the season, I'll get a lot of questions about this. Like, I'm sure I will. But I'll address it right from the get-go. Like, I separate that. And he knows I do. I try to separate it as much as I possibly can. And when I sit down and I broadcast and I watch Halo, I'm watching good games. I'm watching teams who are all striving to be the best that they can possibly be. I will always be fair. I will always call out incredible things that I see. Feelings aside. Bless you. Bless you.
Excuse me.
He's allergic to BS. And it's not, I promise. I don't know why he's sneezing. I just appreciate good games. I appreciate good gameplay. I appreciate quality. Over anything else when it comes to broadcasting. So
you already know. Don't worry. She can predict us to lose, and I'm not going to take offense. It's all right. Yeah, I told her that. I was like, I don't care.
I have before.
I know you have.
I have before. I felt like it was a make or break. We were dating at the time. We weren't as serious, and I was like, crap. I predicted someone else. Anyway, it is what it is. Yeah. But
I love the.
I've got to do my job as well.
Of course, and that's fine.
And then straight after is crying in his arms uncontrollably because I'm so happy or I'm so sad, whatever it is.
Exactly. But that's okay. It's just,
I love it though. It's so good. I can't get off the game either,
Yeah. You know what I love? I was going to say this about the talent stuff. I love how well you all know each other.
Yeah.
And I think like over on Call of Duty, I think that's something I love about you guys too. Is like you and Nameless and stuff. Like you guys have all become like such great friends. But like going back, I'm only talking about Halo because we're talking about Halo.
It's a Halo episode. This episode.
Yeah, exactly. You've all known each other for so long. You know what I mean? Like you and Mark, or sorry, you and Ansa, you and Brav,
Wes,
like
Gaskin. I mean, all of them.
I think we have some of the best talent. Like I've said this before. I think that Halo has some of the best talent. Period. Yeah. And it shows because people go to other games and just do so well across every game. Mm-hmm. I mean that in terms of talent, not necessarily like players, but I guess that kind of does apply to players too, slightly.
But I don't know. I'm just enjoying myself so much. I just feel like the game is just fabulous to watch. Like it's so fun.
How are you finding the observer mode and stuff? Like, have you been liking it from a broadcast standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I think
I watch like more like streams.
I really can't talk too much about that right now because we're having a couple of problems with the spectator mode and the observing mode.
Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah, we're having a couple of problems, and
I think overall,
I mean, they've been addressed socially on Twitter as well. I can address the ones that I know have been publicly said about, from a 343 employee point of view that has been said on public social media. Obviously hard to read certain things. Yeah. It's really hard to see certain letters and colors, etc. Yeah. That is a work in progress. So just for everyone who out there who knows, none of us like it, and that goes for people who created it. So like, it's just something that's kind of come with time. The UI, etc.
That'll be fixed. Though. I was more so. I was just gonna gas it up. I was gonna say I was like shocked.
But I don't think you can talk about it without addressing like a lot of the problems that have come. I can't like just gas it up first.
No, that's fine.
Because there are some fundamental issues there, and that's been addressed and is a work in progress. Because Halo have been amazing at listening to feedback and trying to implement that. Yeah. But I've got to say, you know what I'm loving?
What?
I'm loving the way that the observers are able to zoom and push into out of corners and the way you can see everybody. I love that. I love the speed of going into a Spartan's point of view. It's really cool.
Obviously, the game's like beta launch, right? But I was super impressed with being able to like list the teams and stuff.
Yes.
Like that's so cool.
Yeah,
they're figuring out all
There's
their...
a couple of things like kill feed comes down every now and then, but
it randomly won't work.
There's little glitches at the moment that'll come back and it's fine.
We're 2 weeks in the game.
Exactly.
That's fine. And I'm probably the harshest critic that there is, and I'm sitting there going, it's okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I just think that kind of wrapping it up, I feel like launch overall has been a super big positive.
Yeah.
Viewership is popping. 2 tournaments in a row, 60K viewers.
No pressure.
I know, 60K people. That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people watching.
Yeah, it's just cool. Wow.
Yeah, support has been overwhelming with this new game. I knew good things were happening because 343 has been popping up in our life.
Yeah,
and I will at some point make a TikTok about it because I've screenshot or taken pictures of every time 343 has popped up, which is about every day, right?
You know what's scary
It's not just the time. We don't just look out for the time. It's like weird little things.
You know what's scary though as well is that you haven't even gotten a picture of every time.
No, I know.
You know what I mean? Eventually you will make this like, what you call it, like collage kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it won't even touch the surface, right?
For literally like 2 years. Mm-hmm. I think we talked about it before in the podcast before. I think we mentioned it. Everywhere we look, 343.
Yeah. And it's not like I'm like staring at the clock and it's 241 and I'm waiting for 2.
It's like
it's 341 and I'm waiting for 343. It's like we'll be driving somewhere and I would have had my head in my phone for 20 minutes and I suddenly put my head up and suddenly mile 343 passes me and I'm like, wait, what?
Or like we're on Twitter. Yeah. And the likes will be 343, or it's just like
I'll pause a video and be like, Peach, look at this video I'm watching, and then we look at the time and I've paused it exactly on 343, and I'm like, wait, what?
I've heard it can mean mixed things.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, no.
I mean, but like, let's be honest. Like, I feel like stuff like this. I know we're gonna wrap up the podcast. I feel like stuff like this is like no shit, kind of. Like it's like it's literally like it can mean 2 things. It's either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
And it's like you're kind of like,
I mean,
it's like a sign that it's either gonna be good or bad. Like or just like, I don't know.
True.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, mate.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
I'm
excited.
Crushed it.
I'm really, really excited.
You got a long week coming up.
We want to hear all of your thoughts about the game, about the qualifier 1, the open 2. Like, I mean, they're both qualifiers, but the open 1 and 2. Talk to me about your reaction from the first week, the bracket reset, optic. Like I think what we'll do is next week, I think I'm going to make some notes here, but we'll get into the absolute finer details of like breaking down teams. I think it's hard right now to break down any teams and their gameplay because we're still in motion here and we're still learning. But it'd be really interesting to kind of break that down and kind of 100%. See the consistency or the lack of within a couple of weeks. So we'll definitely be bringing that to you guys soon, but I want to know exactly what you guys think, everything. Just let us know. And any questions as well, like please do leave us questions on Twitter, I love the comment Instagram section. Comment section obviously on YouTube is a big thing for us, but let us know, hit us up, any questions that you have for myself, PJ, for us together, whatever it is, or even just open discussion ideas that you want to hear. I think it's about time we review this bad boy. Absolutely. Which is our coffee. I hope you're prepared for this.
You can go first.
I'm going to give my first 10 of the podcast.
10?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I loved it. I mean, I drank it in record time.
Wow.
And I loved it.
First one back and you go with a 10.
Yep. Fire.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I thought it was delicious. I thought it was really... everything that it explained on the back, I felt that. I felt that through in my taste buds. I felt it was delicious. I love the smell of it. The packaging is absolutely gorgeous. It's minimal but beautiful, and I love the fact that you can recycle it.
Yeah. It's a medium roast, right?
Yeah, it's medium.
All right. So for my rating, so I'm going to give 2 ratings, okay? For a medium, it's a 10. 100%.
Yeah,
like
agree.
For
agree.
For a medium roast, I drank it and I was like, that's probably...
So he's copying me again. Look, it started again, look.
Don't start this with me. I don't have time. For a medium roast, it's a 10. I give mine all the time. And then you know what? We're not going to go into you critiquing my ratings. I'm not, but whatever. That's besides the point. For a medium roast, for me, it's a 10. Yeah. For me, as like an overall, I probably go with like a 9 because I'd like for it to be slightly stronger. Is that fair?
That's totally fair.
But like... Yeah, but I feel bad because like it's not that's like I'm a coffee expert.
Yeah, no.
I must judge accordingly to what it is
exactly. And label, and I think that's the best way to do it.
These kind people that it is a 10. So
there we go
for a medium.
Big shout out to Brad and Jenna for sending that on over to us. We absolutely loved it. Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much, folks at home. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back.
Wait, I have a question.
Oh gosh.
Can you guys, if you have made it this far and can please help me, is there a way to just like, okay, this is going to sound dumb. To grind, you have to like grind the beans.
Yes,
obviously.
you do. Yeah.
Is there a way? We have such a small, little, compact thing. I want to just dump. Like, this is so good.
You can get full coffee bean grinders that like you put it into the top and it swirls it around and it grinds proper coffee.
We need to get that.
Well, then let's get it. Because anybody have any recommendations?
I want to have this coffee now, like for another like 3 days straight. But I am tremendously lazy when it comes
to grinding the beans.
I feel you.
Let us know recommendations for coffee bean grinders. That would be absolutely dope. Make sure they look cute though, because I ain't buying stuff that looks shit. So make sure they're cute. We appreciate you so much. We love you guys. It's so good to be back.
Thank you guys.
Can't wait for next week. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And as always, stay on the grind. Yay.